So welcome to the Psalms Compressed. Today we will look at Psalm 50. And Psalm 50 offers both a warning but also a reminder of the true nature of worship and obedience to God. The psalm opens with a rather vivid image of God summoning the earth from the rising of the sun to the setting. It portrays God not just as the creator, but as the righteous judge who calls his people to account. In this psalm, God addresses his people, pointing out that he does not rebuke them for their sacrifices because he does not need them. The Lord makes it clear that he owns the cattle and the thousand hills, and that every creature in the forest and in the field belongs actually to him. And this reminds us that God does not need anything from us. He is entirely self-sufficient. However, what God's desire is our sincere worship and thanksgiving. He wants us to offer our hearts, not just our rituals. And the psalm emphasizes that God is not interested in empty religious practices, but in a relationship marked by trust and obedience. As it says in verse 14, offer to God a sacrifice of thanksgiving and perform your vows to the Most High. This verse encourages us to remember that true worship is about gratitude and keeping our promises to God, not just going through the motions. And if we skip to verses 19 to 23, in these verses, God confronts the hypocrisy and the wickedness of his people. They had fallen into the trap of using their tongues for evil, slandering even those close to them, and assuming that God's silence was an endorsement of their behavior. But God, he makes it very clear. He sees everything, and he will not remain silent forever. This passage serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of our words and the conditions of our heart. It is easy to fall into patterns of gossip, deceit, and slander, especially when we think we can get away with it. But God, he sees our hearts and he hears every word. He calls us to account and reminds us that true worship isn't just about external rituals, but about the heart that honors him, in both words and in deed. God's warning is stern. Those who forget him, who live as though he does not see or care about their actions, they will face severe consequences. Yet, in his mercy, God also offers hope. He promises that those who offer genuine thanksgiving and live with integrity, they will see his salvation. So the challenge for us, it is pretty clear. Let's examine our words and our hearts. Are we using our tongues to bless or to curse? Do we live with the awareness that God sees everything? Let us therefore strive to honor God not just with our lips, but also with our entire lives, knowing that he is both our judge, but he also is our Savior. As we reflect on this psalm, Psalm 50, we should ask ourselves, are we merely going through the motions of our faith, or are we genuinely offering God our hearts and our entire lives? God, he desires more than just a ritual, as I said. He desires a deep and personal relationship with us. And true worship is not about what we give God in terms of material things, but about the authenticity of our praise, the gratitude in our hearts, and our obedience to his will. Psalm 50, I think, serves as a reminder that God sees beyond our outward actions and looks at our hearts. He calls us to move beyond the mere tradition and to engage in true worship, worship that comes from the heart, full of thanksgiving and a life committed to His will. So I think therefore we should strive to live in a way that honors God, not just with our words, but also with our actions, offering the best of our hearts and the best of our lives. I know it is not easy, but this we have to do.